Hey, it's Brian Mertens, and in this video, I want to talk to you about one of the best ways to get back to nature. You know, you hear so much about people who are on a quest to get back to nature and get back to the simple life and the values that nurture wholesome human beings who have a positive relationship with their environment. And, you know, I believe that the presence of people on this planet can actually contribute to the abundance and the flourishing of life and healthy ecosystems. But there's a common sense way of relating to our environment when we are close to nature that isn't being nurtured in our modern society. You know, the kids growing up don't know the plants. They don't have a connection to where their food comes from. They haven't learned to be quiet and observe patterns by watching the birds in their backyard. And my mom, who helps to design curriculum for early childhood education, is always talking about how things in school are just way too structured these days. You know, we don't get the time to just play outside and have engaging sensory experiences with nature. And as a result, you know, most people in the modern world are actually really shut off from using their eyes and their ears and their observation skills to the fullest ability. You know, they have 20/20 vision, but they can't really see what's happening around them. Their ears work fine, but they don't really hear because they're always wrapped up in what's happening in their mind. So, you know, here I am. I actually wear glasses. I don't have 20/20 vision. And yet people always remark to me at how tuned in I am to everything when I go outside. And, you know, I really attribute it to my training in nature awareness and specifically bird language as the skill that really opened my mind like nothing else ever has. Bird language is the ability to go outside and observe birds and notice patterns of behavior that reflect what's happening in the landscape. And it makes it so that you can go outside, and if you know how to recognize alarm calls of a bird, then suddenly you can start to interpret the hidden movements of animals like cats and hawks and owls moving through your very own backyard. And it's kind of like wildlife tracking, except rather than looking at tracks on the ground, instead it's about the patterns of bird activity and the different sounds and alarm calls made by birds. So, you know, one of the things that I've really learned through this process of tuning my senses to bird language is that it's totally possible and obvious once you know what to look for that everything in nature is totally connected. You know, people always talk about how everything is interconnected. But how often do you really see it with your own eyes and have an experience that literally changes the way that you see things? And I think this experience of being tuned in with nature in a sensory way and in a way that impacts your emotions is really what's missing for all these people who want to get back to nature, but you know, maybe they just don't have very much experience being outside. And there's something that really shifts for people when you start paying more attention to birds, because it engages the senses, it engages your brain in this whole new way. And that's really why bird language is such a great way to help people get back in touch with nature. So if you're interested in, you know, doing this and learning bird language for yourself and learning to discover the hidden movements of wild animals by listening to alarm calls, I created a free series of videos to help you take the first steps towards watching birds more carefully and learning to understand their behavior on a very deep level. So I'll put the link to those videos somewhere on this page in the description box. And if you want to get access to those free videos on bird language, all you have to do is click that link and get ready to begin your journey back to nature through the art and science of bird language.